Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you are watching for the first time. It is high time you declare why you voted William Ruto as your president. Because the conversation is taking a new twist. At first, it was the mamambogas, na watu wa boda boda and the hustlers who came out and confessed how they were hoodwinked and how they were deceived into electing William Samoei Ruto. Then now, leaders are now coming out. The most shocking revelation was from the former Kiambu governor, Ferdinand Waititu, that William Ruto actually promised him, they were in a meeting together with Kiraitu Murungi and Francis Kimemia, that one of them would become his running mate. And that is perhaps the reason why he supported William Ruto. So 17 months down the line, nothing is happening, and so he decided to spill the beans. The conversation is now changing from the hustler, from the mamamboga, to the leaders. Because when William Ruto was campaigning, he spared no one. Both the rich and the poor were deceived. But now, after Ferdinand Waititu and all the other leaders complaining that they were hoodwinked, the chairperson of the Council of Governors, Madam Waiguru, is now crying foul, and she regrets why she voted William Ruto. The bone of contention here is the sharing of revenue between the national government and the county government, because you all understand that under the new constitution, we now have a two-tier government, the national and the county government, or if you like, the devolved powers and resources. Apparently, this has been a conversation that has been going on. The man in whose purview this lies is Deputy Rigathi Gachagua, who chairs what we call an Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council. The last time they met was in, I think, 22nd last month. They failed to reach a conclusion, because this meeting usually brings together officials from the Council of Governors or the county government, the Kenya Revenue Allocation, and the Treasury, which is now William Ruto himself or his minister. We have reached a point where they have failed to agree. The Council of Governors have proposed that they cap the allocation to 450 billion Kenya shillings. But the Treasury is saying that they cap it at 391 billion Kenya shillings, while the Kenya Revenue Allocation is saying it should be 398 billion Kenya shillings, that which should be shared in what they call equitably. They had formed a task force to look into this, but even with that, they have failed to agree. And this has compelled the chairperson of the Council of Governors to declare that there is a stalemate. And quoting Madam Waiguru verbatim, this is what Waiguru said, that after lengthy discussions and analysis of the proposed recommendations by the task team, the three parties retained their divergent positions on the proposed figures for the shareable revenue at hand. The council hereby declares a stalemate on the discussions around vertical sharing of revenues. That is Madam Waiguru. Basically, she's telling Kenyans that they have declared that there is a stalemate, there is a standoff. Madam Waiguru is explaining that the reason why they feel that this money should be increased to 450 billion Kenya shillings is because she's saying that the Kenya Kwanza government has introduced the housing levy that they must factor in, and that due to the economic situation in the country, they also want to factor in the annual increment of county government employees, and of course with all the taxes. And they are now saying that this should be capped at 450 billion shillings. So you can see the policies, how the Kenya Kwanza policies, so the Ruto policies, are affecting people downwards. I don't know whether this is the bottom-up economy. But when I heard that Madam Anne Waiguru is complaining, it was very interesting to me, because if there is one person who has spared William Ruto for a period of time now, even boycotting meetings where governors, the chair, the council of governors call for a meeting to criticize the government about the revenue allocations, Madam Anne Waiguru has been very lenient. For her to come out and start talking about this, then things are getting thicker. They have been pushed to the wall. But one thing that I wanted to say very categorically is this, ladies and gentlemen. I remember vividly that in 2022, when William Ruto was campaigning, they signed a charter at Catholic University with the 48 county governments, the 47 in the country in Kenya, and the diaspora formed the extra one. So there were 48. And William Ruto talked about the bottom-up economy and how they had changed the conversation from leaders dishing out positions to now creating opportunities to the hustlers. And he promised that he would increase revenue allocation to the county governments. So when I see this kind of conversation that up to date now, many months down the line, they have not agreed, it tells me one thing. Just like the leaders who were told that they would become deputy president, just like the Mama Mbogas and hustlers who were told that William Ruto would form a government for them, the council of governors or the governors or the county governors then were hoodwinked, because William Ruto knew very well that the art of seducing people during politics is simple. You simply tell them what they want to hear. That is why William Ruto signed very many charters just to get away with it, because he knew very well that people would fall for the trap. He signed a charter with the women, with the county government, with the teachers. As we speak, even teachers have not been given their location. So it was a matter of tell them what they want to hear, sign whatever they want to sign. Now they are back at it. There is a stalemate, and William Ruto is not blinking. If this president does not care about court rulings, the court ruled that the housing levy is unconstitutional and that government, the civil servant, should not be deducted, but they are still deducted. Do you think he will blink when the county governments are crying for? He will not. So those the charters that were signed were mere paperwork, mere formality. Number two, William Ruto never supported devolution, because our devolution came as a result of the 2010 constitution that was being championed headed by Raila Amolo Odinga, if I'm not wrong, among other stakeholders. He was not alone. But William Ruto took a different stand, and he publicly opposed the new constitution, opposed the devolution. He finds himself in a quagmire because he was the first beneficiary of the new constitution. Of course, he became the first deputy president under the new constitution. Now matters are even getting funnier, because he's now the president in whose hands the devolution now falls. And he has to act as if he cares about devolution, yet he's not. And so Madam Anne Waiguru must understand that she supported William Ruto, but William Ruto was never committed to protect and promote devolution. These are things that are recorded. He never supported it. So Madam Anne Waiguru, well, this is what I usually say, that she made her bed, she must lie on it. For them to declare this, they want Kenyans to understand that they have not agreed. And that is it. So what do we do with them? They supported William Ruto. Madam Anne Waiguru ignored Uhuru Kenyatta. Why? When this thing came up about the BBI thing, and Uhuru Kenyatta and the team wanted one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote, something that is now becoming a big debate in Mount Kenya. Some of these leaders rejected it and accused Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga of perpetuating a sinister motive. Now they are back at it. What goes round always comes round. Kenyans have now formed this ya kwamba kimemramba. But you see, I'm not worried about Madam Anne Waiguru alone, because Madam Anne Waiguru is a governor, has been a minister, so she doesn't lack. She does not know the pain of the economy. But I sympathize with the county residents, mwananchi wa kawaida ambaye huumia when we make wrong choices and wrong decisions. Are we learning as a people? Because our president understands a lot of cosmetics. A lot of cosmetics in politics, where you are told what you want to hear, and then after some times he negates everything. It is the same tactic that he will continue using. Now we have understood that everything that William Ruto promised was a scam. There's a lot of scapegoating now and shifting goalposts and blame game. And Madam Anne Waiguru, as I repeat, must lie on the bed that she made. I don't know, she once told us that you can only rent a Kikuyu, but you cannot buy a Kikuyu. So by extension, do I say that they can only rent hustlers and mama bogas, but they cannot buy them? Because what has happened, but we are approaching an election that is going to be very precarious. An election that William Ruto is preparing Chebukati to take over as the new Chief Justice. Issa Kassan to be there at the Court of Appeal, and maybe to be promoted as one of the people at the Supreme Court level. William Ruto understands very well that things are not working. He cannot repeat the same lies. He cannot continue the blame game. But have people learned? People like the leaders like Anne Waiguru, have they learned? Because now they are crying foul, yet they praise William Samoei Ruto. Kabogo blamed us the other day that when Kenyans are voting, they abandon their brains. But he was the one, in fact, videos were produced where he was telling people this is the 5th president. Everyone who voted for Kenya Kwanza is now saying mimi si kupiga kura. They don't want to identify with him because the cost of living is just too high. All the charters, the women charter, all the charters about teachers, they have been negated. Why? They were meant to help or to win some people to vote. And after voting, that was the end of it. What message do you have for Madam Anne Waiguru? Please share with me in the comment section.